But he's in our prayers this morning because he announced that he tested positive for COVID yesterday. He has been vaccinated and he's still got COVID, but I think he's doing okay. He's planning on getting the Regeneron.
No symptoms, he said.
What's interesting, though, is if you don't get vaccinated and you go to the hospital, most of the time you're going to get Regeneron. But Regeneron are the antibodies. So you're basically still getting vaccinated because they're sticking you with an antibody.
Antibodies, and what if you can't get the vaccination? You have to shelter in place now, like an American in Afghanistan. And if you don't, these people are the worst. These inspectors, they're going to come blitzing in there. These health inspectors, they're going to fine you $1,000 for your first offense. Think about what everybody's been forced to do in the hospitality industry: $1,000 for your first offense, and it's going to go up to $2,500 after that.
Well, he could be right. It could actually force people or convince people to go ahead and get the vaccine so that they can go into these places.
People making their own decisions. You shouldn't get the mayor making your medical decisions.
Well, you know, if you had talked to him, he would say it's a public health crisis.
Who wants to talk to him?
Well, he's the mayor, you said.
Okay, so I'm just going to point out that's about as tense as Fox and Friends ever gets between Kilmeade and Doocy there. But there, Kilmeade was responding to the fact that the vaccine mandates for certain types of establishments in New York City have now gone into effect. So if you want to go to a theater, restaurant, gyms, things like that, you do have to be vaccinated. And obviously he's not a fan of that. But there were a couple points there, JR, that I think we have to get into. So first of all, they're not doctors, they're not experts. They would never give you medical advice. That is the cop out that a lot of people on Fox use. Although I noticed that Ainsley Earhardt just said, well, you know, if you get sick and you get Regeneron, that's vaccination. No, that's not. That's not that at all. What are you talking about? That's vaccination. I thought you weren't an expert. You're not going to speak definitively about medical stuff. That is massive misinformation right there.
Even their favorite president talked about how these treatments that you got to have, this treatment, so that it can't be the same thing. Even if you have this glib view of what vaccines are versus what treatment is after you get the virus. I don't know how she misses that, or maybe she doesn't miss it. I don't know, because the whole point she was trying to make there was, so you still might be getting vaccinated when you go into the hospital when you get this Regeneron. So she's kind of poo-pooing on Regeneron, not realizing it, because she needs something to say that's anti what's happening here, and to downplay the severity of the things that are happening because there's so many irresponsible folks. And Kilmeade's ass. Oh God, I'm so tired. There's this anger for someone who wants to do something different to change things for the general public and the spread of this virus. You see it happening, but yeah, sure, just let it go around. And now these restaurants, these poor restaurants, they could be charged because they're not doing things for the public health. Can you believe it? We've never seen anything like this in the country before. That restaurants get monitored by the government to make sure that they're not having any health issues, and there's no nasty rats running through the kitchen, and there's not rat poop everywhere, and there's not roaches under the table. Oh my God, what next? They're gonna have some kind of grading system done by the local government to show if the restaurant is disgusting or not, and whether or not it's spreading disease. We've never seen anything like this in the country before.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and oh God, the freedom thing. This is a political movement that wants to fine you if your pants sag. You think they care about your freedom to make your own decisions? That's not what they're mostly worried about there. But you know, continued credit, our man, Steve Doocy, who is actually not just implying again, hey, maybe you should get vaccinated, that would be a good thing, but defending a Democratic mayor for doing a vaccine mandate. Look, I'm mostly joking, and certainly I'm exaggerating, but he is going to get hate for that. Like, not just saying that you're vaccinated, which most of them are scared to even do, let alone encouraging someone to get vaccinated when supposedly you're not supposed to do that. But vaccine mandates are like the most controversial thing. And we were talking about this during our production call earlier. Like, why is it that Regeneron is the thing that they all focus on? Like, Ainsley's all excited about Regeneron. Why get vaccinated? You can get Regeneron. Texas is talking it up. DeSantis, you know, last week I think it was doing this whole tour about how great Regeneron is and everything. And I think it's just they know that they need to act like they care or that they're doing something, but there are certain like pathways that they can't go down. They can't encourage masking or social distancing because their base will hate them. They certainly can't tell you the most effective thing that you should do, which is getting vaccinated, because their base will hate them. They haven't yet been encouraged to hate Regeneron. And I don't know that they will, because Trump took that very publicly. And so that has sort of been walled off as a thing that is safe to talk about. You can acknowledge that the disease is bad and cures are needed, as long as you constrain your commentary to Regeneron. We'll allow that for now. We'll see. The right-wing grift is always expanding, always looking to purify itself. Maybe Regeneron will be encapsulated under that at some point. But right now, that's like the one thing that they can agree on. Well, you should definitely get Regeneron.
Well, like I guarantee you, follow the money. You might find that Regeneron is connected to a lot of these folks' bank accounts.
Yeah,
that's just speculation.
Well, that came up in our production meeting as well. I forget exactly who it was. It was some big donor, I think, to DeSantis. But anyway, is one of the principal donors for that. Anyway, check that. I don't remember specifically, but certainly. Yeah, and it's interesting that questions about who's going to make big money off of so many people needlessly needing Regeneron when they could have avoided the whole thing by being vaccinated. They're not going to talk about that, but there's like a full court press now against the booster shots, which have been announced, with Donald Trump, hosts on Fox, and others saying this is all a massive big pharma scam to make more money. Which, I mean, I don't put anything past big pharma, but this seems like a convenient way for them to attack vaccinations by pretending to attack big pharma. Do they want insulin prices regulated? If you're worried about profiteering, no, you don't. It's just this one time. So fake.
Isn't it weird how conservatives always like to talk about how everyone's trying to make money off of these things, but they're the only ones who aren't? Somehow everyone else is trying to make money off of trying to help people, but they're not trying to make money off of not helping people by giving people a middle finger and saying, get out of here. And then pushing in new different things and options that don't make a lot of sense. Because that's not a way of making money. It's in broad daylight, but they'll just say the opposite thing, and everyone is supposed to look that way and go, oh, it must be them over there, not the people right in front of me.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna see what happens with Governor Abbott. I'm assuming thanks to a combination of vaccination, which is your best bet to stay safe, as well as the Dr. Johnny Bananas monkey meds. I think he's gonna be just fine, but we'll be tracking it day by day and we will see. We'll also see if it leads to him changing his tune a little bit about COVID in Texas. I remember what happened with Trump, so I'm not holding my breath on that.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.